So what it is having a more independent way of learning. So it can individualise and personalise learning for students, as it can empower students to learn at their own pace, to develop a deeper understanding, and allow for class time and teacher one-on-one time.
So part of the flipped learning is the Bloom taxonomy, which is where the students are basically in charge of what they do. They are basically the teachers of the lesson. So there's a whole pyramid which I'll show you later. But basically the students in class are doing the basic things with the teacher. They're getting the basic knowledge, and then at home in their own time they're doing the more.
Alright, so some examples of these come from Northern Beaches Christian School, which is where I go to. We've implemented this in our maths curriculum. So we've got online and offline resources, and at the beginning of the lesson our objective is clear and direct to us. So let's just say we're told to do an equation, like on algebra, and then we'll be given a workshop which is optional to go to, and we'll be able to do work independently from our workbooks. Then if we go home we have homework, and if we have any problems with that we can go on a website called Edmodo, where we interact with fellow students and the teacher to solve a solution. However, if we're having a problem in the classroom or out of the classroom, we can form small groups where we can either have screencasts of the question or a teacher explain the question to us. And this is beneficial because we're able to take charge of our own learning and our own education, and we're more likely to remember it than us being spoon-fed by a teacher. Another example of this is implemented in the FACE College. In maths, teachers open up a portal where students can access videos, screencasts and concepts if they need help with classroom. In this classroom, teachers are able to teach the basics, but the students are more independent with their extension work by either logging onto the portal or discussing it in their group. Yeah, it's already being implemented in schools, and I think that's really cool. Yeah.
Learning to date has had a significant effect at many schools around the world. I know there's some in India that are using the flipped learning as an effective way of teaching, and it's been successful. Any questions?
Perfect timing, look at that.
Any questions?
I wonder if the students find it more motivating. Do all students engage with that model? What happens to the students who don't do their prior learning?
Well, yes and no. It depends what kind of student you are. It's usually students who are really self-motivated. But usually, if we're given a clear, distinct goal and we understand the problem or understand the concept we're meant to be learning, we're more likely to continue to be engaged with it. Usually the reason that students typically aren't engaged is because either they're being held back or too much information is being fed to them at once. So I guess this style of learning makes it so that you can work at your own pace, and by next lesson some people may be ahead, some people may be behind, but as a cohort you're learning better than you would with traditional education.
Thanks, girls. Well done.
Thanks. Hello.
Take order. What is the order? Order. What's the order?
Do the same thing.
This time. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. You're live streaming as well. So try to speak up.
Who about you go first?
So we've been discussing social networking, and how that can, impact learning in classrooms. So we start off with what is social networking, which social networking is a network that people can use all over the world as a form of communication. And also it allows people to communicate in different locations all around the world about similar topics. Yeah.
So what impact has this had on learning to date? It allows people to communicate and learn together from all around the world with Skype calls and showing from Australia to America, communicating and seeing each other's different curriculum, watching educational videos, emails, so getting feedback from the teachers faster, blog sites, and yeah.
We then looked at a few current examples that we use in the classroom at the moment. And so we had emails, the obvious one, interviews. So my older brother used Skype to talk with experts in neuroscience when he was doing his research project in Year 12. Skype to connect with guest speakers in other schools, connecting with the world with things like Quora, which is a question and answer website, and using projects on Tumblr and other social media. And we also talked to a teacher from America who said Twitter changed her life and her teaching classroom and everything, and so she actually found out about this conference through Twitter.
So for potential classroom users, we thought about connecting with other classrooms around the world, like via Skype or FaceTime, to find out what they learn in their classroom and compare it to what we learn. And also, the same teacher from America, when she came here for this conference, she made an Instagram account, so her students can follow her and find out what she's doing in Australia and the cultural differences as well.
So overall, I just want to say social media can be like a risk to put into practice, but it can have all these great benefits. In particular, for example, there was a teacher who was learning about Antarctica, and she used the hashtag something related to Antarctica, and she got the students to Skype call people that went on an Antarctic expedition. So it can really connect you with other people around the world.
Thanks.
So do you guys have any questions for us?
Have any of you used Edmodo?
Yeah.
So that's another big one that would be
I think most of us would prefer
Yep.
I think Edmodo
Why is that?
is more designed as like a very community-based kind of grassroots program for primary, rather than a project.
So have you experienced issues with other, like if you're out there on Twitter or Instagram for school-based purposes, are there problems you've encountered with it?
Well, there is the like teacher simulation competition.
Yep.
You know, is the teacher going to follow you or something like that? But generally, that's not too much of a problem.
I just have a question for you guys. So, have any of you used Twitter for Twitter for?
Yeah, I had Twitter in my Year 2 class.
Yeah. I was wondering, it is really helpful and it's hashtag.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Do you want me to hold it for a while?
Sorry?
Do you want me to hold it?
Sure, you want to do the next couple? Is the microphone okay? Is it covered or is it open there? I guess is that what the mic is?
It works.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I haven't actually listened to it, so I'll have to check it out. I'll maybe check and see how it feels like.
Yes.
Good job. I'm sure the case is designed that
I
way.
think it is, but
I'm actually against social media.
okay.
Hi.
Wait. Is she starting?
Hang on.
Makespaces are a place where people come together to create something using technology and materials. Our top 5 must-have resources that we thought would be used. Technology, access to the internet for research and to document or present. A facilitator. Yep. And access to expert knowledge. Focus question and a criteria. Relevant materials and team.
I'm maybe sound a bit silly, but what exactly is a mentor?
Well, it's just really a space where you can make stuff, but as long as you're with a team, you're doing it together, so it's all about collaboration.
So it could happen in a school, like in a DT lab or something?
Yes, you can have it
Or in a
anywhere.
classroom or anywhere, yeah.
You don't have to use technology, as long as you're in a group, like they're all working together.
So at my school this morning in my classroom we had knitters. We're knitting squares to make blankets to send to Africa. So that's a maker space, is it? Is that a, yeah, it's a group of kids and teachers together. So that's a maker space, yeah? Give it a new name.
That's great. Making
That's a school in Kenya. Yeah.
isn't
I know, it's
not nice.
kids need blankets. Yeah. So have you had experience of that kind of thing at your school?
Yeah.
In what way?
Well, this term we actually did something similar. We did this project-based learning for maths. It was sort of like making tools from the past. So we had to get into groups before and decide on 3 meals that we were going to cook at the end of the term. So during that time, at the middle of the term, we had to make a budget, we had to get those, like, add up all the ingredients, and the menu, stuff like that. And then afterwards, once we finished, we had to cook. We're going to cook next
So I think ideally every learning space would be a maker space. Some are. I'm not. No. Sydney though. Yeah.
Move over a little. There you go. Say hi.
Hi.
There's 7 viewers.
Oh, it's just live.
Yep.
That's really cool.
Which way are you going?
Yeah, this is our group.
So go that way.
They've come from there.
Go that way. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, there's one there.
This is our group.
Hi guys, how you going?
We were just No. This is our group. I know, they'll have to do your take time out, okay? I said I wanted to hear what you had to say. Yay.
You're going to do it normally, okay?
Yep.
Same as you.
So our topic that we researched was learning analytics.
As you know, our topic was virtual and remote technology, laboratory. One of our questions was,
Data can be obtained through the different technologies
we found
that
out
are currently used in training.
having
Such technologies may be cooperative, for example, something like Moodle, from the students through mobile tablets or laptops, and even socially through social media.
So the impact that this has had on learning, it's like not too big because it's still emerging, but it's changed with things like some of the teachers in the classes teach with this flow, just to do stuff that they find difficult to how they teach it.
The potential class uses, we already said, dangerous experiments, you don't have any problems. You can repeat the experiment, you can save expensive equipment. Like our school, we don't have a science lab, so we can just go on the internet and do that. So,
we use this live, like have definitely just live fast internet connection, access to appropriate laptops and iPads, screen capturing software. We're going to film it and upload it.
So the story was like suddenly changed the way Cider other subjects I like delivered it. It's probably increased the scientific understanding.
The other story, we thought the other story was normally at the start, in the olden days, they would do the experiment and then whatever else they wanted to do. But now we do a presentation and then do the experiment.
yeah, we said that we would get all the information, we've seen the video, and then if it's a safe one, then maybe you could present it in front of your classroom. So,
Very good.
Well done. Yeah, well done.
Have you had some good questions? What were some of them?
Would you like to use
So did the other teachers tell you what they, has it been science teachers have used it?
Just this one here, chemistry teacher.
Science.
We've also been asked questions like,
What's your favorite design?
and what would you prefer to use as on the virtual laboratory? And so, the different softwares, and we said that to search up the virtual laboratories and just come up different software, some free, some much money. So, yeah, that's basically this one.
Sorry, everybody. Mate, if you want a Samsung Galaxy charger, take it away. No, it's not.
Don't start yet.
Don't start.
You can say hi.
I was just engaging in the pleasantry. Where are you guys from?
I come from the Alex. And I come from Our Lady of the Southern Cross in Victoria.
Yeah, we're from this school.
And Sydney, another school up the highway. Kate's another girls' school.
Start.
Okay.
So our topic that we had to research was learning analytics. So learning analytics is analysing data that students use in their process of training and learning. The goal is to use this information to improve the learning process and predict the success. Data can be obtained through the different technologies that are used in training. Such technologies may be cooperative, such as Moodle, or from the students using mobile, tablets, or laptops, and even through social networks or blogs.
To have impact on students, teachers use basic tools that allow them to analyse what students need to learn and find a way to teach each student's individual pace. Some of the current uses of learning analytics in classrooms include models, surveys, intelligent technology, real-time feedback, and JPOL, a tool developed by Griffith University Australia, providing teachers with a capturing, maintaining, and engaging way to learn interactively.
What was that one called?
JPOL.
Very good.
So some potential classroom uses for learning analytics can be in pre or post-learning quizzes. It can be used by students for self-grading in order to provide immediate feedback. Outcomes can be monitored by the educator to determine areas of weakness and strength. Learning analytics can help predict students' current trajectory in a course and better pinpoint areas that could improve the students' performance, which can help have more individualized feedback.
There are a few things you need to be able to understand and do in order to understand analytics. The first thing is you need to understand how data works. You can also have a friend, parent, or teacher that knows what it means. You also need to be able to calculate the chance of an outcome according to past events. You can also use a program called SurveyMonkey, and you can also use any personal device to calculate the data.
What subjects do you think this could be used in?
I know that we actually use it in German, and most subjects send out using SurveyMonkey after the term study has been finished, and they just want our feedback. I know that our German actually changed it, curriculum changed, but what they've done now is they've changed it so that kids who want to move forward, I think things like back. Who are code up.
And I probably could use math, which is probably data and calculating.
Yep.
Thank
JPOL.
JPOL.
EOL?
EOL. Double L.
That's pretty cute. They should, right? Few bloods for 101.
Thank
Well,
you.
and I'm just in the back channel.
Someone watch us?
7.
Chat to you. Join the chat. Ah, yes. Dawn. It was engaging. I've got some questions for you later on. Happy Dawn. Very good. Childhood obesity being one. Yes. Okay, it's very good, Jason.
Yeah. Excellent, Jason.
Okay, well basically we were talking about apps and how that either benefits students in the classroom environment or whether it would distract students. And I think the main problem which teachers face is that students will just go off task. They will go on different apps and then get distracted and then go onto say an inappropriate website. And I think there's two solutions we came up with. Firstly was this app called AirWatch, in which all the screens of the students will be put off onto a teacher's iPad or computer, and so the teacher can just walk around the classroom with their iPad, knowing every single screen, knowing what screens the students are watching. Second solution.
And secondly, a more theoretical solution. We talked about how students could be engaged by the work more than they'd be engaged by going on topic. And so that we thought that was difficult because of the necessity of following syllabus, things like that. But in future it could be achieved.
And the example I've been using today was this idea how like PD is a very syllabus-based subject, but obviously I'm not going to say it now because, but basically I think it's quite difficult in the HSC when you, like the aim of the students is to cover every single syllabus point, but obviously that can get a bit tedious and boring sometimes, and which is why that's the main reason we think that students go off topic and
But overall, given that these measures could control internet access, we thought that internet access was very important for the learning experience for quite a few reasons. Firstly, the importance of research. So internet access in school would allow students to do their own independent research on top of what the teachers have already taught you, which improves your knowledge of the subject, and you could use that in exams or assignments to gain a bit of marks.
And there were some apps we found, some other teachers told us about, which were really useful. One of them, I think the Shaw English department is trying right now, which is called ReadCloud, and that lets you, you have an ebook in front of you, and as you annotate, other students can see you writing it as you're doing it. So it can get a bit chaotic with 22 students all writing down on like this one piece of paper. But you do get that instantaneous feedback from your peers and perhaps from the teacher at G-Circle, he or she Circle.
Do you guys use any apps yourselves that you found as good tools?
I personally use Evernote, and that arranges all my subjects into this one app. There's Evernote. Evernote. Yeah. And that syncs with my computer back at home, so I have anything to change it whenever I want.
I use PDF readers because all my textbooks are on my tablet, which is very helpful. I don't need to carry them.
Any questions?
Would you like teachers to be using apps more in classrooms based on what you found today?
I think for us personally, it's relevant for all students. I think we're focused a lot more on the HSC and covering every syllabus, and I think that's something which the state government has imposed on us. So we'd rather go through the points and stop points and cover everything. But I remember in year 7 all the way to year 9, it would be more engaging for us if we could use it.
I was just going to ask you, from a PC perspective, you were talking about App Store earlier. Are you talking primarily about Apple apps or Microsoft apps?
With some of the apps like Evernote, that goes across Android, PC, and everything. And with the main problem with PC is that some apps with Parrots, that doesn't work. But other ones where you can watch all your student screen, that does come.
Yeah, we use a program at our school called LAM, and we can see the screen.
Well done, guys. Very good.
Yeah.
You're going that way.
We've already been there.
You've already been there.
That's coming up.
You guys are here. And you can start.
So we're talking about BYOD, the cost of bring your own device.
Perfect.
So to start, it's all personal preference. I mean, subject to subject, there's different ideas going on, different views. I suppose it's all to do with what you've grown up with, what you feel comfortable to, what you feel easiest to keep up with classwork, stuff like that.
Top 5 must-have resources for BYOD. Any device, you could have an iPad, Android, computer. Programs and apps is necessary, but you might have to
settings in Drive app, Wi-Fi to connect to each other via your computer and iPad, skills to know how to use software and hardware, and a Wi-Fi group to manage the Wi-Fi between people. For example, for the program, it could be word processing, PowerPoint, coding, file sharing, designing, It's also for portability as well. You could be on a bus or a train to Europe or Asia, and you might need to do something from work or school, and it's handy for if you need to have an English essay journal. You can use your iPad instead of taking the big desktop with you. So it comes handy with portability as well.
Hey, are there any frustrations that you guys feel as students with some of the limitations and this sort of stuff? You're allowed to bring in devices into class?
Do you?
Yeah, it's just the elemental figure.
So what do you think, if you were comparing bringing your own device versus being allocated one where every student is given the same device, what do you think the benefit would be? Would it being preferable, or would you prefer to be given something else?
I suppose if you bring your own device, you paid your own money for it, so you can take more care of it rather than someone else's device is being allocated to you. So you spend more time looking after it.
Also, if you get allocated, there's always a chance of working in the change. It's better to have your own device than working. It depends on what you like for technology or design. It's better to use a computer or a have the mouse. You have the mouse.
Very good, guys.
Yeah, well done. Thanks, guys.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, not too bad.
Our topic here is 3D printing. So, what kind of technology is it? It's a 3D printer using computer-aided devices such as Google SketchUp and things like that. You create a design, the 3D printer then melts plastic and lasers out layer upon layer to eventually create a smooth design that is exactly as you have designed it on the computer. But you don't always have to use plastic. You can also use other things such as ceramics. And they're also trying to make kind of a source for this material that is biodegradable and has a lot of growable sources. Like one of them has a fair amount of impacted minerals and stuff. So to this date, what impact has it had on learning? So take for example, you were an architect and you had a design that you perhaps thought wasn't perhaps stable or something. So you could print it out using this 3D printer and then test with all the real world forces such as gravity and all that sort of stuff. You could test whether or not it was structurally sound or whether you needed to add any more supports or take away unnecessary things. And yeah, it's really good for just seeing on film. And let's say you were in a class such as history, you could actually have models of certain like people or certain structures, and actually you would not have to visualize them. It would actually be a kind of more lifelike image of what you're talking about. So this was a Year 6 project. They had to create a formula to make a cylinder have the same volume as a cube. So to test this, they simply printed out a hollow cylinder and a hollow cube.
filled the cylinder with water and then poured it into the cube. And if the cube didn't fill up to the right level, then they would know that the formula was incorrect, so they have to go back to the drawing board and redo that. So that's a good way to test certain formulas like that. And also, 3D printer is an additive machine, so it doesn't start with the block and take things away and waste a lot. It actually just builds upon as we said before, and so it won't waste any materials.
So this is a Year 12 work doing woodwork, so he needed a special joint. So this would have been very difficult to create using wood. So using the 3D printer is much easier because you simply laid out the layers, and again, without having to take away anything, wasting anything, you just put it all together without putting anything to waste. And same with keyholes. It would be much easier to make keyholes because instead of having to engrave or take away, it just molds around what you needed to. What's the other story? It's medical purposes. So this man lost quite a bit of his leg. So they recreated a leg that was recreated a plastic leg using a 3D printer, and he uses that as his leg now. And also a man lost his ear. So the doctor using his other ear recreated a mirror image of that ear with the 3D printer, glued it onto the side of his head, and the skin grew around it, and so it looked as if though his ear was perfectly normal. Any questions or anything?
So have you boys had any experience with a 3D printer?
No, we haven't.
Would you love it?
Yeah, we'd quite love one.
I want one at my school too.
Because for example, if you're studying geography and you're talking about the Himalayas or something, and you're getting all this information, you're extremely confused. But if you were to print out a scale model of the Himalayas, then you could just see. It'd be much easier to see it's in Nepal's over here and there's some things in there, and it'd just be much easier to understand.
Tons of applications.
Well done, boys.
Really good.
Very good, boys. Very good. Carry on. Working on sports cameras.
Oh, you guys are coming. Hello.
Hi. So we did topic 6, which is gaming and gamification. And essentially gamification is turning something that's not necessarily interesting or engaging in the classroom into something that is engaging by adding some levels of either competition or rewards. And so they sort of act as a motivator for the students. Go.
And the game needs to become and have some reward and real world application and more towards practicing what have you learned and to help understand engaging and needs to have levels of practice and making non-game activities content more game.
One of the ideas we had was if students in a game aren't very good at it and they're at the bottom of their scores, if everyone could see it, it can be quite upsetting and not make students not want to play the game. So by showing only the top 5 or top 2 scores, it gives the students somewhere to work toward, and by only showing the students at the bottom individually their marks, not everyone being able to see it, doesn't make them feel as bad as we do.
And in traditional classrooms, students often leave classes with lots of questions, lots of answers, because they don't like to ask, and because maybe they don't like their subject or something like this. And they often need more time to learn and to study and to speed up learning interactional classroom and so on, but it should be faster. And the the matter is if you want to have a professional technology in your classroom and school, you need a lottery budget. So everyone can have this technology or some of the games, good games in their school. But we can make some games that is easy and it doesn't need a lottery budget. So everybody can use it.
So we've been giving the example of in the United Shore in commerce we do something called the AFX share market trading game. And we get given 50,000 virtual dollars which we get to invest in the shares of our choosing, and we get about 6 weeks, and by the end of the time we then see how much the shares that we bought are worth. So there's a level of competition there which means that the groups are engaged between each other, as well as the ongoing engagement that comes from trading shares and watching how the shares go. So it certainly makes it a memorable experience, and you walk away with actually an understanding of exactly what you learned and where it applies in the real world.
Are there any subjects that you think lend themselves more to using games and gamification than others?
Yeah, I would have said the humanities-based subjects certainly would, but then that's sort of proven wrong by mathematics and how successful that's been. So I think it is possible in just about every subject. Some may be harder than others.
Maybe history. Yeah, some games.
It really just depends on you. We think the best people to integrate something like this would be the teachers, because they understand the content and they understand what students don't necessarily understand and where it applies in the real world.